Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Below the Double Yellow Line Xfinity Series, round number 4 here at Michigan for the basic Joe's Racing 200. Before we get to qualifying action, I want to give some big thanks to all the sponsors that makes this coverage happen. To that of Outlaw Desert Racing. Outlaw Desert Racing is a nonprofit located in the Southwest location. Outlaw Desert Racing offers adrenaline therapy. It's also a program that implements where we place military or first responders, active or veterans, on an off-road desert vehicle where they are the navigators and giving them the adrenaline rush to help them feel like a team member and also a sense of purpose once again. As I want to give a huge thanks for Outlaw Desert Racing for all they do. For more information, go to www.outlawdesertracing.com or look them up on Facebook at Outlaw Desert Racing. Also, you can find them on Instagram and on TikTok, outlaw_desert_racing. Also, a huge thanks to Tricky. That's Tricky with 2 R's. Tricky is a Facebook live streaming. Tricky also is live on Sundays through Friday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Go check them out on Facebook. Remember, that's Tricky with 2 R's. Also to Joe Speed Team. Joe Speed Team, proud partner with the BTD Yellow Racing League, otherwise known as Double Yellow Line, Below the Double Yellow Racing League, and as well ButtKicker. ButtKicker having the gamer too, so that you can have the sense and feel of having all of the sensations. Instead of just hearing the sounds, why not feel the sounds? ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. And to buy your gamer 2, use promo code FreakyFast20. That's Freaky with 2 E's, FreakyFast20. Now, my name is Sam Dyer. With me is Brandon Colley, and it's time for round number 4. Brandon, we're excited to watch these drivers go around for 80 laps here at the 2-mile course in Michigan.
Oh yeah, a lot of speed here in Michigan. Pretty banked racetrack. Also got a little bit of uh, off-cambered banking at the bottom of the corners. Really changes up the lines quite a bit. You can kind of use that difference in banking to help the car rotate later on in the run. Should be a lot of fun to see these guys search for some grip in these already pretty low-gripped Xfinity cars.
Yeah, we've got about 3 minutes and 45 seconds left for these drivers as qualifying is coming to a close. We're going to be on board right now with the 44 of Safe Fares. And for Safe, he's been having a great run for himself in the 44. Compared to last week, there was a lot of drama that came out where drivers just were not happy the way that they were being raced. So I'm excited to see how the driver's going to be reacting, especially with the draft being so important. Driver's going to be in packs drive around here. Tire wear also going to be very important. But for Safe, he's currently he's going to be in 8th place for his first lap with a 39.634. Adam Baker, top of the board currently.
Well, with how important the draft's going to be here, Sam, especially in the early part of the run, you're going to have a hard time passing guys that are really lined up and getting that big toe down the front straightaway, especially long sweeping front straightaway here. You carry a lot of speed. If you got guys that aren't going to be friendly with you, maybe ruffled some feathers in the previous races, it's going to be really hard to pass without some help here. Have to see which guys can get hooked up as a team and some friends out here on the track and make some positions in the early going, especially.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a couple of teams that I'm kind of looking at who were bringing out some issues it felt like last week. I mean, you got to think about the Pelicans of Anthony and Alex Pelican. They were extremely quick, and they got into some scuffles with some other drivers, got disqualified last week, and I'm wondering how they're going to recover. Currently, Anthony is in 4th place, and Alex, he is figuring out where he wants to be on the board because I'm not seeing him currently.
Well, that's one of the things you're gonna have to do as a driver is just kind of say, okay, last week was last week. Do the best you can. Okay, I've got some issues with some of these guys out here, but you're still gonna have to work with them at some point. And it's not quite Talladega or Daytona, but you still need some friends here. But it comes down to the end of it. It's kind of hard to forget that you had an issue with somebody if maybe they're leading and you're in 2nd place. You desperately want that win. Memories start to come to the forefront.
Yeah, I found Alex Pelican. He was in 3rd place. I just whiffed him with my eyes. And for Safe Fares, he's just cruising around, trying to just get track time and laps put down. And we've got a minute left. We've had a total of 29 drivers putting down their laps, and we're having about 5 drivers, 5 or 6, deciding not to put a qualifying lap down, which is an interesting call. I mean, Michigan, very similar to most super speedways, where you can linger in the back, conserve those tires, and then make your charge further up when you're coming to the end of a green flag stint when you have to come into pit road.
And it's a really viable strategy, Sam. Just kind of hang out in the back and take it easy. Make passes where guys maybe make a mistake and you don't have to work too hard for it. The guys at the front are going to be pushing pretty hard in the early going here, just trying to slice and dice for position. Just knowing how difficult it is to make those passes as the run goes on. But if you're saving in the back, it gets much easier with fresher tires to just slowly start climbing through the field. The biggest problem is if you lay back too far, you can get about mid-pack or so, something happens and the mid-pack gets separated from the main pack at the front. Not having that draft from every car that you're passing to help you catch back up to the guys ahead of you. If you got a big gap in the packs like that, it's going to be pretty hard, even with fresher tires, to make up that distance.
Yeah, it's fresh tires. I think those are going to be the keys for these drivers on how and when they are going to decide to pit. This race, they're going to have a total of 5 sets, the one they start out with, and 4 additional sets in pit road for them to have service. But qualifying has come to a close as we are about to get underway for this 80-lap race at the Basic Joe's Racing 200. Here is your starting lineup. As going to be on top of the board, it's going to be Adam Baker. No surprise, he's won the last 2 races and is looking for win number 3 in a row. Then you're going to have Brian Seaborn, as well as Alex Pelican, Anthony Pelican, Bradley Wilson, Jeremiah Vincent, as well as Eric Hutton. And then we're also going to be having that as safe fares. Dylan Teal and James Loveland, your top 10.
Cody Adkins in the 81 going to be 11th. Alan Dice, 12th. Dennis Steele, 13th. Kyle McGarvey in 14th position. Nick Starling in the 99 in 15th. Kevin McGarvey in 16th position. Justin Carey, 17th. Kyle Payne, 18th. Jordan Shepler, 19th. And Brandon Pearl in the 4, rounding out your top 20.
In 21st position, it's going to be Mark Beverly, who looks like he's going to have some fans out in chat. Nick Alves going to be in 22nd with Brett Summers, as well as that of Josh Abbey, Thomas Benderl, as well as Francisco, Nick Gardner, as well as Timmy Emmanuel, Chris Wheeler, and then starting from those drivers that did not qualify from 30th down to 35th. That's going to be Dallas Sullivan, Jacob Houston, as well as Andrew Stacy, Zach Smith, Joe Means, as well as Jordan Brickle. I mean, those drivers are going to be starting in the back. No real time to base themselves off. There were, I think, for Joe Means, didn't practice, didn't qualify, complete wild card for that 20 machine.
And for the 20, it's going to be a good section of the start of this race here. Just feeling out what the car is doing, how your pace compares to the guy ahead of you here, and just figuring out how the handling is going to transition as the run goes on. With the lower fuel load that these guys run, it makes the cars a bit tighter. Going to have to see, what adjustments you can make in the car. Sometimes here at especially these bigger tracks like Michigan and Auto Club, later into the run, dialing in a little rear brake and just kind of dragging the brakes into the corner really helps the car rotate and can save your tires when the right front's really gone away.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the things that these drivers really focus on is how to conserve those tires, and I'm excited for it. And looks like the fuel run, with it being lower, probably looking around lap 20 to 25. That's the window we're looking for these drivers to pit. And as well, we do have the halfway point of this race. At the end of lap 40, that is when we will be having our competition caution. The driver that wins gets a bonus point for themselves. And so, looking for those bonus points in the halfway points of races, those little points can add up to later on in the season. As there are no playoffs, it's get as many points, be as consistent as possible in these 10 races, and excited to see how they're going to do. As Adam Baker, like I said, top of the board with points. He's got 2 wins, and he's finished in the top 10 every single race, the most consistent driver we've had all season long, as well as his teammate of Safe Fares, who's finished 5th, 2nd, and 4th. Excited to see how those drivers are going to be making their consistency moved along, or will Michigan be a wild card that kind of ends their streak?
We're going to have to pay attention. Some of these guys looking for a bit of redemption here. after some bad luck, see if they can grab it in Michigan, as they're getting ready to take the green flag.
Pace cars off. And green flag is in the air as it is time to race here at the Basic Joe's Racing 200 at Michigan. 80 laps here at this 2-mile course, as it's going to be Seaborn going to be trying his best on the outside, but it's going to be Baker staying just a groove higher, and that's kind of where you're going to be seeing drivers trying to put themselves, those that go all the way down that yellow line, trying some bold moves, as it's going to be Alex Pelican trying to go 3 wide for the lead, already coming out of 2. They're 3 wide, waiting to see who's going to be making that charge to the Pelicans in 3rd and 4th, as everyone else is going down to 2x2 as Seaborn gets left all the way to the high line. Let's see what type of run he gets here. Is there side-by-side 3 wide for 2nd place?
Yeah, I was watching Alex Pelican there, Sam, in that extreme low line in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's like I said, it's a bit flatter there. You can do it on the restarts, but once you get really up to speed here, it changes the handling of the car so much. You're going to have to slow down. It's quicker on the short run, but it's going to hurt your tires for the long run here. And right now, it seems like the preferred lane is going to be the high side right now, getting crazy runs so far. And Alex has dropped back now to the 6th position.
Yeah, Alex once again tried through 1 and 2, going all the way down to the yellow line, as well as that of Wilson doing the exact same thing. It looks like they get bogged down through the center of the corner, cannot carry that momentum forward, and they're kind of just stalling out and not able to make any passes on the straightaways.
And this is where you're really seeing, okay, it's going to be pretty difficult to get a run on somebody, especially with the draft here. You've really got to start figuring out, where are these guys lifting for the corner? How deep are some of these guys going in? If you back up your corners on the short run, you're going to be able to carry a lot more speed into the corners on the long run, and that's going to help you set up passes tremendously. Just give you a little bit something in your back pocket for later in the race.
Alan Dice we're on board with. That is the Powerpuff machine. Powerpuff Girls machine just trying his best. Alan is currently 5th in points. He's had 2 5th place finishes in a row, and he's trying to do better than that this week. But I gotta give credit to Alan. He has certainly been finding his consistency after starting the season off, finishing with an 18th place. So, for some of these drivers, it's that slow, methodical patience, because I know for sure for Dice, he was caught up in a lot of incidences last week. He had a lot of rebounds at Pocono, and, early on, we saw Pocono, some drivers getting caught up in a lot of wrecks, but early in this race, coming to lap number 5, we're still green.
The guy's being really patient here. Based on what I saw in practice, the car seemed really slick on colder tires. Guys really being mindful of that here on the short run. Now 5 laps in, and quite impressed. Everybody nice and spread out. It also helps. Michigan's such a wide track. You've got plenty of room to race, even with an ill-handling race car. Everybody still keeping it between the navigational beacons, going straight here, looking to make a charge. And it looks like now the 11 of Francisco up 5 positions back at 21st. I believe our biggest mover of the race so far.
Yeah, Francisco Cacciano going to be doing his best in the 11. Currently in 21st position, and has in front of him that of Beverly and Scheppeler. And, seeing the drivers side by side, they've got to be worrying about those tires if they're battling this hard. The driver that's on the outside trying to get back on throttle sooner than the drivers that are on the inside and drifting up. That's going to be that Steele just getting himself a little bit out of shape. It looked like for a second. Actually, you take that back. That was Payne who's been getting out of shape slightly in front of this side-by-side action we're watching.
I ran a couple laps here, not a whole lot, just get a general sense of what the car was going to feel like for these guys. And I tell you, if you overdrive the entry to the corners just a little bit, there's not a lot of lateral grip in these Xfinity cars compared to what we'd see in something like the Cup car, which is so much downforce playing into the track. It really wants to slide the nose. Seen a couple guys go in just a little bit too far, trying to see what they can get. And a little bit up the racetrack there, but not going to hurt you too bad if you only do it a couple times. Seen everybody really taking it easy here, not really making too many aggressive passes, trying to dive into the inside and pull or be a slide job through the center of the corner here, trying to clear the guy on the outside.
Yeah, everyone taking their time. There's a couple of passes here or there throughout the course. Everyone's still going pretty straight. a driver that's moving forward up front. That has to be the 9 of Jeremiah Vincent. This 9 machine started back in 6th place, battling for 2nd. He's got Anthony Pelican also trying to strike, but Vincent's trying to make that outside lane work and will clear, and following suit, it's going to be Pelican trying to get a shove to the 9 coming into 3.
Yeah, Jeremiah Vincent, one of those guys that wants that redemption here at Michigan. Had a really good strategy going for Pocono, just got caught up in something late. Same with Eric Hutton back in 5th position, looking to rebound after an incident late in the going, run in 2nd position here. Looking to scrap by and get some more points here, see if they can challenge Adam Baker for this stage win. And Adam's kind of checked out right now, about a 2nd gap to this backpack here. They've been racing pretty hard with one another.
They are packed like sardines. They are all just stuck. There's not many places to go with our front board. They are really just stacking on top of one another, still side by side. And yeah, with the heart racing they are doing, just trying to figure out who's going to really be definitively in 2nd place. Is Eric Hutton. He's made his charge. Our Iowa winner, our debut winner of the season, he was able to win. And after his win, he's finished 3rd at Texas, then finished in 17th last week, trying to rebound for himself and about to move up to 2nd. Man, these guys all have their own kinds of stories. Seaborn, he's looking for a great run after having 2 finishes outside of the top 10. He's trying to finish in the top 5 this week.
If I remember right, Seaborn, great speed at Pocono, just I think a little off on the tire strategy last week, put himself back in the pack and got caught up in a wreck like a lot of these other guys as well. But he's challenging Eric Hutton right now. Looked like Hutton got a little bit wide coming out of turn 4, going to allow Seaborn to make that pass for 2nd place.
See, I mean, it just seems like whoever makes the pass for 2nd, they're not there for very long. Only up in 2nd for about a lap or 2, and then they're being challenged by someone new. The guy up front, Adam Baker, up to a 2.5-second lead, is continuing to pull away as over the radio, it sounded like Jeremiah Vincent had a little bit of a scare for the 9.
That turn 4 and turn 2 wall comes at you pretty quick if you get back to the gas too early there. Looks like these guys are 3 wide coming out of 4 now.
3 wide, and it looked like they were coming through a funnel when they were coming out of 4 with how close they were. Still 3 wide action for the 12 of Alex Pelican and that of Bradley Wilson, as well as Safe Fairs. They were right on top of one another, and now throwing Cody Atkins into the mix as the 81 wants to get involved, as well as that of Dylan Teal. They are coming closer, and you know, I like to call Michigan the super speedway with tire wear, just because, you know, with going to Daytona or Talladega, you really don't get to see a lot of tire wear being a factor. But here in Michigan, the draft is such a huge thing, as well as how well have you saved your tires. As Wilson drifts up into the 12, got to be careful. They're 3 wide once again, and somehow they're coming out of 4 cleanly.
Dylan Teal looking to make that aggressive move to get underneath Cody Atkins there. Alan Dice having to back out of it to potentially avoid turning the 19 as he made that move. But now it looks like Dylan's stuck on that flatter part of the corner. Can't quite carry as much speed there. Going to be slowly drifting back now as Alan Dice goes to his outside for the 10th position.
And now we're starting to see 2nd through 5th. They're single filed up and just running in line. That's this battle that we've been watching for 6th place that has just been about to make probably our 3rd pack in a way. I mean, Adam Baker is in his own zip code. Then you got Seaborn trying to do his best to catch up, but I think Baker is just because he's driving all by himself, he's got the fresh air, not worrying about dirty air, pushing or shoving him and making him plow up the course and using more rubber, as well as he's really got no pressure on how aggressive he needs to use up his rubber compared to the rest of the field.
And that's the biggest advantage that Adam Baker's going to have right now is 1, the clean air, but 2, he can run whatever line he feels like he can get the most speed out of, and he's not having to really push the car to do it. They're able to catch him now somewhat, but they get back side by side again. You're having to run a little bit higher than you want to, a little bit lower than you want to, put a little bit more heat in the tires, just trying to hold on to your position. And as soon as they got side by side, Sam, Adam Baker able to extend another 10th over our 2nd place car right now. So these guys, if they can get single file, I believe they can catch Adam Baker. But if they're going to keep racing each other, they're just going to see him get smaller and smaller in the windshield.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to see seconds for fifth. They're in line, trying to make a charge forward. They're really kind of running equal times as Adam Baker. They're trying to do their best. As we're on board with the 19 and watching him, Dylan Teal, this driver has been having a rough early part of the season. He finished in 11th, a great way to start the season off, and then has finished 35th, 33rd. And Teal now having some internet woes. Got to be careful and hoping that his internet holds up. But for Teal, a potential chance of another of getting his first top 10, maybe his first top 5 of the season.
Yeah, based on how hard the guys in front of him are racing, I think if Teal is just a little bit patient here, lets it come to him, conserve his tires, especially in the dirty air that he's having to deal with now. You really start backing off the corner and letting it roll in nice while these guys are battling, really throwing it in. They're going to fall back into your hands pretty quickly. But we're not too far off from where we imagine they're going to be making their green flag pit stop here. Roughly 20 to 25 is what we believe we should be seeing. And that's about 10 laps away at the most.
I mean, it seems, I would say, if you're going to use the draft to its fullest potential, you'd want to come in with maybe 1 to 2 other people, possibly, if you want to go with someone. I mean, Baker seems like he feels a lot more comfortable pitting by himself. And driving by himself. You would think maybe there's a chance that some drivers might be thinking, I want to pit off sequence just so I'm by myself and not worrying about other draft issues.
Well, normally I would say that you're going to be a little bit quicker if you've got somebody to help push you. But what we're seeing out of Adam Baker right now is that single car speed can absolutely dominate. And you're not having to rely so much on the track. Oh, we got cars up on the wall.
Pelican getting shoved up as well as Atkins. And just like that, 2 front runners, heavy damage for themselves, and they continue to drop back with no fast repairs. They're going to have to get a lot of that damage served at the halfway part of this race.
They are desperately wanting to see a caution now to get that fixed. Can't afford to take the time during green flag stops to fix that amount of damage, and it looks pretty significant as well. Going to be about 20 to 30 seconds, I'd say, and 20 to 30 seconds on pit road is an entire lap almost here at race speed. So like I said, you just cannot afford to get that fixed here. Going to be hoping that they can avoid going a lap down after this pit cycle, and maybe for the stage break, get that thing in here, get it fixed.
Cody Atkins dropped back to 20th, and then for Alex Pelican back to 22nd when they were running around 4th and 5th for themselves. And with that type of a contact, I mean, it looked like that they just drifted up and the tires started to tighten up for themselves. As we're watching is hard racing currently in 14th place, and the battle for 13th is going on, as this is Kyle McGravy and Jordan Schepler really getting close to one another. But we've seen close racing action all over the race, and it kind of makes sense that at some point someone's going to run into another driver and cause that type of incident. First driver into the pits, though, it's Jeremiah Vincent.
Well, the undercut might be pretty huge here for Vincent, depending on when the rest of these guys decide to come in. Coming to take the start of lap 20 here. I think he's feeling pretty confident that he, from this point, is not going to have to worry about fuel to the end of the stage. So came in as early as possible to try to make the best use of those fresh tires and pull out a gap potentially like Adam Baker has.
Well, I mean, also, you're with fresh tires, you're going to be running about 2 seconds faster than what everyone else is doing, as it looks like Nick Starling is voicing that he's going to be coming to the pits, and others coming in, Eric Hutton following suit. So right when we got to that window of 20 laps, between 20 to 25, that's when we're going to be seeing drivers coming in. I mean, I was trying to do some quick math on setting up on how far the drivers could go. I think if they really push it, they can get to lap 26, but that is when they are really pushing it and are on the edge of not making it on fuel.
I think the only benefit here, if you're Adam Baker with the gap that you've got, you try to run it out as far as possible. The gamble is that you're going to get a caution. If you're one of these guys pitting super early now, trying to get that undercut, you may get trapped a lap down in the process of it if the timing is just really bad for you. But now looks like everybody able to keep it going now. Another group of guys heading on to pit road. Looks like Anthony Pelican going to be leading that group in the 98. But Adam Baker now still out on track, still stretching his lead. And Eric Hutton coming out of pit road just behind him.
Yeah, I mean, our freaky fast broadcasting colleague, League Tillwell, would probably be screaming pit party with the amount of drivers are coming in packs. You got about 8 to 10 drivers in these first 2 packs that have come in each. And now we're waiting for the final 15 drivers to come in. And it looks like Seaborn, he'll be coming in for himself. And man, it is a crazy look. Also, Adam Baker, he'll be coming into the pits leading this charge.
Well, I think he saw how quickly the 88 of Eric Hutton was catching him and saying, I cannot afford to give up this amount of time staying out on these older tires here, especially going to be the back half of the drivers to come into pit road. I believe it may be pretty close for Adam Baker when they finally cycle back through, but he may just have enough over Eric Hutton here to keep that gap and should still retain the lead once everything cycles through.
I mean, we're watching of Schepler. And also in front of him, the 21 of Justin Carey, as they're being passed by Cody Atkins, who already pitted for tires and fuel. And for Cody Atkins, he's trying to make sure that he is the first car 1 lap down. Currently in 22nd when we looked at him, he is cruising along and trying to pull away as we're on board for the battle for second place. Justin Carey and others in front. I mean, it is a great battle that we're seeing as we're on board with Nick Gardner. And for Nick Gardner, currently 4th in the points, and he finished 16th at Iowa, 8th at Texas, and 2nd last week. Nick Gardner, he's just 1 position away from possibly winning last week. I mean, it was a lot of pressure to try to beat Adam Baker, who's been looking so dominant the last couple of weeks. And I don't know if there's really anyone else. I think Eric Hutton might be another driver that has a chance to beat Baker. Baker has kind of stepped onto another level after last week's win.
And I think you're exactly right, Sam. Eric Hutton, he and Anthony Pelican both had a lot of speed at Pocono. Could have contended, I believe, with Adam Baker for that win, but then just got too hard racing each other there at the end, caused a problem for both of them, and really took away the biggest competition that Adam Baker had, allowed him to kind of cruise away with it. But, you know, sometimes if you don't necessarily have the pace, somebody like this.
Oh, Francisco, as well as Justin Carey, hard into the wall. And that's the 11 being pushed by the 21 on those much older tires. And that is just, that's tough for the 11.
Oof, I just missed that. Yeah, and again, that's the most dangerous part of the race is that sequence between guys on fresh tires that have tried to undercut and the guys still on old tires. I was pretty concerned by where everybody on fresh tires was running that inside lane there. And if there was going to be an issue, guys checking up to get on pit road. Nearly saw it when the 44 of Safe Ferris came in. I think it was Brad Wilson just behind him when he tried to check up to get down to pit road speed there and almost caused a problem. But luckily, everybody able to navigate this cycle here. Looks like now with Justin Carey coming in for his pit stop, going to be the last driver to make that trip down pit road, as well as Brett Somers following suit in 2nd position.
And that should be taking the lead is going to be Eric Hutton, and he's short pitted by 2 laps over Adam Baker, and a net gain so far. But Baker is coming as those fresher tires, it's working out. But this is going to be one of our few times we're going to be seeing Baker in dirty air and how he's going to be able to attack the 88 here.
Well, it's going to matter a lot on how much these tires even out, but the 2 laps fresher for Adam Baker paying dividends here. He was able to carry a lot more speed out of turn 2. And now looking to the inside of Hutton. Hutton going to clear him off, keep the dirty air on the nose of that car, use the flatter, shorter part of the track. And look, just you saw, he finally got right up behind Hutton. And that dirty air seems to have stalled out his speed quite a bit. He gets a much better launch off the corner, but the center speed is just getting killed by the dirty air of the car in front of him.
Yeah, and right now, Adam Baker, he's got to run maybe a groove higher, and that's what he's going to go for. With the speed that he can carry with the fresher tires, Adam Baker on the outside gets the momentum and makes the pass cleanly of 48. It's time for him to take off here for these final 13 laps until we get that halfway competition caution, where Adam Baker looks poised to win another, get at least a stage win for himself. As we're watching the battling currently for 3rd place, Jeremiah Vincent, he pitted earlier than everyone else. And he did not gain as many positions I thought we were going to be seeing the 9 do. He is right now having a net loss as he is down to 5th place, having drivers with fresher tires passing him currently.
Well, looking at the pit stops here, Jeremiah Vincent on lap 19, as opposed to the two cars that just passed him of Anthony Pelican in lap 21, and Seaborn a lap later than that on 22. And he is about half a second per lap slower, just on 2 lap older tires. So the fall off pretty huge here at Michigan, even over just the course of a couple laps.
Yeah, I also think that Jeremiah might have been pushing it extremely hard, thinking, "Hey, I have a chance to have a big enough lead to maybe hold off everyone else." And that plan looks like it has backfired. But currently, looks like he's got a big enough lead with the amount of laps that are left until we get to lap 40, where that will be the white flag for the halfway point. And then at the end of lap 40 onto 41, that's when the competition caution will fly. And I think for Vincent, he should be able to stay in the top 10. Which, it's not where he wants to be, but the 9, he tried a different strategy this time. Maybe he'll take note and try something else on the next stretch.
Well, Sam, I've got to point out, back in 8th position, the 46 of Dallas Sullivan, up 22 positions from the start of the race here. So having a great race so far for the 46 to crack himself into the top 10 now. Looking at his lap times, a little bit slower than that of or a little bit quicker, just a skosh quicker than Jeremiah Vincent, Alan Dice, and Nick Starlin. The car's just ahead of him here, so might be able to get up close to the top 5 by the end of this stage.
Yeah, I mean, for Sullivan, he's doing a great job for himself, especially with catching up to Starling. It looks like Sullivan pitted about a lap sooner than Dice and Starling and still is gaining time. That's telling me that Starling might have burnt up those tires for the 99 way sooner, as they've been out there for 11 laps of green flag racing on these sets. And when you're about 5 laps into a run here at Michigan, those first 5 laps can really set the tone on how your run is going to go with your tires. And it looks like for the 99, he's driving back quickly, but safe fares. He is on cruise. He's cruising and taking 2 for the price of 1, coming through turns 1 and 2, and now going to be setting up here Sullivan through 3 and 4.
And to your point about the first 5 laps setting the tone, Sam, it's exactly right. You go out and you try to undercut a guy just to get the advantage on pace with the fresher tires, but you can trick yourself into thinking, okay, I'm going to have this advantage. Let me try to make the most of it and go set down some qualifying laps for the first 2 or 3 laps on those fresh tires and just put way too much heat into them. You want to take advantage of the extra speed you're going to get, but you cannot push it too hard because it's a very short-term gain and a very big long-term loss on speed doing that. And we're seeing that out of quite a few guys now, but it looks like Dallas Sullivan and Safe Fares both able to make the most of it, but not try to grab too much and still got a lot of pace in their tires.
We're on board with Kevin McGarvey. Is this the battle that's going on for 19th, 18th, and 17th? With Jordan Scheffler, Justin Carey, Zach Smith, and McGarvey as well. And for Zach Smith, one of those drivers that started all the way in the back, he's made a great run up to 19th and started all the way back in 33rd position.
Just slowly and methodically making his way through the field, letting guys fall into trouble, seeing a number of guys try to grab too much, get some damage, hitting the fence or getting involved into an incident with another car. And just taking advantage of that. It's one thing you definitely don't want at a track like this, that little bit of damage. It's going to hurt your straight line speed that you so rely on at places like Michigan and Auto Club. And keeping a clean car will pay off heftily in the long run here. And we're seeing that from Zach Smith now. Up 14 positions. Still not quite as good as Dallas Sullivan, but much better than people like Dennis Steele in the 28 back in 24th, Kyle McGarvey in 16th, Alex Pelican, we saw his incident, now down 29 positions with that damage in 32nd here, hoping that he can stay on the lead lap by the end of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of these drivers, Alex Pelican, he's making his charge forward and doing the best that he can. But, just for Alex, he was so aggressive early on, as now we're watching this amazing pack of drivers It's a battle for 29th and 20th. I mean, all these drivers on top of one another. 3 wide, about to be 4 wide in front of them, as it is a stack up for the drivers in 29th and 25th.
Yeah, these guys back here running in the 20s, saying, you know what, we're not racing for the lead here, but we're still racing, and that's an extra position that I still want, and I'm gonna do everything I can to try to take it from you.
As we are on lap 36, about to be 37. If we ever get a caution, that will be our stage break for these drivers. And also, in the next lap, pit road will be closing. And for those drivers that decide to pit, early, try to get a, pit about 2 laps sooner than when everyone else most likely is going to pit. I mean, that is a risk, but could be a reward if we have a lot of early cautions when the next stage starts.
I noticed something a little while ago, but apparently it has paid off pretty big. I noticed the 56 of James Loveland now up to the 11th position. At the start of the race, I believe he fell back all the way to almost dead last. I think a calculated decision there, trying to stay out of some trouble. Race with James a little bit. I know he's got a lot of speed, especially these bigger 2-mile tracks here, where getting the long run pace out of it's going to be absolutely crucial. And he's showing it right now, running almost a half a second quicker really than everybody else ahead of him right now. We'll have to see if that can pay off in the second half of this race after the stage break, setting himself up with some great track position here to start that second half.
Yeah, James Loveland came in the pits the same time that Adam Baker did in running that last lap, the exact identical lap times for both the 48 and the 56. The only issue, there's about 10 drivers in between where they are at currently on track, as James Loveland's about 13.1 seconds back, but that is a good showing, especially if Loveland can somehow keep that pace up and gain a couple of positions when we get this caution coming up here shortly, as we're on lap 39. 2 laps to go before that stage caution comes out.
Looking at the front, about top 10 here, Sam, quite caught off guard by how much these guys have really spread out. Really, I think the closest battle is about the 8th position, maybe, and it's still like 3 car lengths separating those guys on track.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is that most of the drivers in the top 10, there's only about 3 drivers that came in at the same time. Everyone else came in at different parts of that lap 20 to 25 marker. Everyone came in at different points, so their tires are at different stages of wear, and that's why we're seeing these major breakoffs from everyone around each other as we're on the white flag of stage 1 coming to a close here shortly, as Adam Baker coming out of turn number 4. Stage 1 comes to a close. Baker gets the win.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And able to pull out almost a 4-second gap at the stage break there for Adam Baker. So incredible pace yet again out of the 48. Gonna have to see here if somebody like Eric Hutton and Brian Seaborn, maybe Anthony Pelican, stay fares in the top 5 as well. See if these guys can figure out something to contend with that 48 for the second half.
And we'll have an interview with our stage winner once pit road comes to a close. But I mean, this was a great stage 1. Drivers kept it clean all the way through. We saw an incident between Cody Atkin and as well of Alex Pelican, and it's really hurt Alex Pelican the most. He was not able to get the repairs done during that green flag pit stop, so he'll try to get as much repairs done as possible under this time of this caution period, as they can come into pit lane, take a lot more service done to get repairs. And we'll see where Cody Atkin, how much damage he has, as he's currently in 18th place. It looks like that scrub that he had into the wall didn't hurt him as much as it hurt the 12.
And back to a comment you made earlier, Sam, about Alex Pelican just being super aggressive. Really, and that's the 2 sides of the coins here. At a track like this, some guys going to be a little bit more passive and patient, and some guys saying, okay, when the tires even out, it's hard to make passes, I've got to go. And to the credit of Alex Pelican, the incident he was caught up in, really no fault of his own, even with that aggression, just trying to make the outside roll pretty well. Had to Cody Adkins just a little bit loose, getting down onto the flatter part of the banking on the inside of the corner, washed up a little bit. Cody apologized to him in a bit of frustration there for making that slight mistake, but it looks like it definitely hurt the 12 a lot more than it did the 81.
And pit road is about to get busy with no cautions coming out in the first stage. It's very possible that these drivers can stay green all the way through this rest of this race. So you want to make sure your pit crew has the best stop possible so you can possibly gain some positions. But everyone, we're expecting to take 4 tires and fuel to set up for this very long run. Still, after this, one more pit stop for these drivers. Could be their money stop unless we have a late caution. But here they are in pit road. A lot of clean drivers coming in their pit stalls. No one really sliding through. As now they're going to be coming off the field. Adam Baker looking like he's going to be the favorite as he just has to go straight and will win off pit road.
Eric Hutton looked like he had a really good stop there, just about beat the 48 off of pit road, very close.
Well, they got their service done, and we will maybe possibly talk. I take it back. I don't think that we are gonna have the ability to talk to Adam Baker, but Adam Baker winning stage 1, a massive win for himself, I would say. Continuing on his winning ways after winning at Texas and at Pocono the last 2 weeks. I mean, 3 in a row looks poised for the 48.
If these guys are not able to figure out a little bit something extra, maybe just kind of ride behind Adam as much as possible. Try to avoid racing each other. Figure out exactly what he's doing that's killing you on the long run here. I think they can contend, but if they're not able to do that, it looks like the 3-peat is going to be a shoo-in for the 48 so far. Now with this stage point going to be adding to his advantage, now a 16-point lead in the standings. Surely to be more, but he has to finish this thing out and maximize on those points.
There's a driver that I really want to take a look at. That's got to be the 20 of Joe Means. And Means, one of those drivers, we don't know how he's in 16th currently. One of those drivers that really made his way through. We didn't know how well he was going to do. Didn't practice, didn't qualify. A complete unknown, but he moved up to the middle of the pack.
Yeah, it took a lot of time being patient at the start of this run here, figuring out what he needed to do, and made good use of it here. A good chunk of positions up 18, as well as Zach Smith just on his inside here in the 15th position. Both drivers starting right next to each other on the grid. Both move up 18 positions, looking to see if they can crack into the top 10 and potentially even further.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these drivers, we really didn't know how they were going to do. Some of them decided not to qualify, and so they decided to take the long trek going through traffic, which, if they somehow get up front, they've got all the knowledge of how the dirty air is going to affect their cars. Could be very useful if somehow they get inside of the top 10 or trying to crack into the top 5 if they can somehow get up there. Well, this is below the double yellow Xfinity series. It's their first season of the Xfinity series. For these guys, it's round number 4 here at Michigan of only a 10-race season. So we are coming close to the halfway marker of this season. Drivers getting ready to come off of turn number 4 for the Basic Joe's Racing 200. I mean, we've already put down 44 laps, about to start 45, as we are going to be racing to the end. And we're expecting one more pit stop, but these drivers, they look clean, crisp, and ready to go. Green flag on the air, and Adam Baker, a great launch for himself, as Eric Hutton follows suit behind.
I was looking back just a little bit at the 51 of Brad Wilson down on the apron across the front stretch here, looking to maybe go 3 wide, running these guys right on top of each other on the restart.
Yeah, I mean, everyone here, they're going to be doing everything they possibly can. Seaborn also going to be challenged by Anthony Pelican. I'm wondering what Safe Fares is going to do here. He's been finishing very consistent in the top 5, currently running in 5th. And he's trying to get under that of Anthony Pelican. This run, if you're able to stay up front and try to conserve your tires and stay at least a second to 2 seconds close to Adam Baker, I would count that as a success compared to the rest of the field. We'll see who's able to hold on to their tires and who's not. As we're on board here with Eric Hutton, just looking at the 48 and the way these drivers are running on this bumpy surface here at Michigan.
Well, watching Eric Hutton last lap, he was able to back up turn 3. You see here, Adam Baker again looks like a little bit faster going in. And then Eric Hutton able to close the distance, center off the corner, get a pretty good run. The biggest thing I'm concerned about, he's running right in the tire tracks of the 48, getting all that dirty air. And as the run goes on, the more and more dirty air you find on your nose, the more you're going to have to make that right front tire work to carry the same amount of speed. You see him now up half a lane, just trying to find some clean air to help him out. And you can see how loose he's getting. Definitely helping the turn in that car, just finding that little bit of air.
And you drop back to 6, where you got Jeremiah Vincent, Nick Starling, and that pack of drivers trying to make their drive forward. You touched on that of Sullivan being one of our biggest movers, currently in 10th place, as Loveland behind him. And when we were coming to the end of stage 1, Loveland was running just as fast as Adam Baker, but was 13 seconds back. He's currently back about 2.2 seconds, but I think for Loveland, if he wants to have a chance at winning this race, he's got to figure out how to move forward, but it's difficult when you're also trying to save those tires.
It really is. It's a very delicate balancing act, saying, okay, I need to go. I can't afford to give up all this time, but I also can't afford to use the tires trying to make these passes too aggressively. He's doing a really good job keeping it close now and just trying to find a little bit of extra speed. But on the inside, I think the inside, you're going to be able to carry a little bit more speed. It's a little bit shorter of a way around, but it's going to hurt the tires more. And if you're going to dedicate yourself to going to the inside to make a pass, you have to be able to make it at that moment. You spend too much time down there, and all that work you've made saving your tires is going to go right out the window.
Another couple of drivers making contact about a lap or so ago. That was that of Jordan Burkle, as well as Andrew Stacy making contact. Stacy gets loose off of 4 and making contact with the 32. Hard contact for those drivers, and they are going to now hope for a caution to come out if they want a chance to rebound, as they were battling for 29th when that incident happened.
Actually got to go back here, Sam, and try to find Alex Pelican, see how much he was able to get fixed on that pit stop under caution here. See if you got the wrinkles ironed out of that car, maybe keep the straight line speed up, maybe rebound here before the end, but gonna have a long way to go, looking like still back in the 32nd position.
Yeah, not able to really make any real dents to fix that car. I mean, I think for Alex, he's just got to chalk this race up and hope that he can rebound in the next couple and have some really good finishes. He might have to go on a winning streak if he wants to get back into the playoff, back into the potential of the standings for points, because it's not looking good for him currently. Looking at some drivers that are battling back around 17th place. You got yourselves of Nick Gardner, got 2nd place last week, currently in 15th place with Joe Means, as well as Kyle McGarvey. And then behind them in 18th, you've got Mark Beverly and Kevin McGarvey, all around one another. And these 5 drivers have been just stuck in the middle of the pack, and they haven't really been able to move forward, as they're losing time to those drivers in the top 15, and they're starting to have drivers behind them picking up their speed.
And you can just see how hard these guys are racing each other and really allowing that gap to form for the 15th place car directly ahead of him here. But it looks like of the pack that they're running in, they still seem to be slightly quicker than Mark Beverly and Kevin McGarvey directly behind them there. But man, look, these guys, they're sailing it off into the corner. Specifically Kevin McGarvey and Mark Beverly trying to battle side by side here, gaining advantage over one another. They went into the corner about 3-4 car lengths deeper than anybody else I've seen tonight.
Yeah, and it's just going to continue to hurt their tires with how much they are just sending it in there. Just giving space for Thomas Brendel behind them in the 34 to have a chance to catch up. And also that of Dylan Teal. Teal had to come into pit road and was in there for an extended stay during the end of stage 1. 19, who was looking for a great run, a potential chance at a top 10 finish. He's now back in 21st. You hate to see it for a team that was looking so good for those first 35 laps.
Yeah, don't want to have any mistakes on pit road. The good news is that it was under caution, not going to hurt you as bad as it would if it was one of our green flag stops. But track position so hard to get here, so crucial. Can't afford to give up anything for free. The good news is there's going to be another pit stop here, another cycle of green flag pit stops, and it worked out pretty well for Teal last time with the strategy that he played, able to gain a lot of track position. We'll have to see if he can pull the same type of strategy out this next time.
Timmy Emmanuel, Justin Carey, Chris Wheeler. This is the battle we're watching currently for 23rd position. And yeah, for Justin Carey, he was one of those drivers that really tried to stretch it out as far as he could. Got to lap 26, about to be 27, when he made his green flag run on the stage one, and it really didn't work out for the 21 machine. He really lost time because of how long he was out there. He wasn't able to gain any of that time back, which overall hurt him. And that's one of the bigger things that can hurt a driver is, especially with it being only a couple of stints for these drivers, is say Fairs making the early pit stop. And this is a gutsy call for a team, but this is right when the window starts, going with the undercut for the 44.
Well, we saw the undercut. You're able to have a lot of speed on the short run, but I think just those extra 2 laps that some guys stayed out over the guys that really tried the undercut, it didn't pay off very well. We saw the 9 just not really able to hang pace there. But again, if you can do this and not abuse your tires early on, just take advantage of the half a second to a second that you're naturally going to get without trying to grab too much, it can work out pretty well.
Well, I think also for safe, he's thinking, hey, that stage 2 is shorter than stage 1, just because the fact that we're instead of it being 40 laps that we're going and driving for, it's only about 35 laps that we're driving on, and maybe even 34 laps when we went green. So if you're stretching it as far as you can go, these drivers are only going to have about 10 laps to try to catch up to those in front of you. And that's not a lot of time to gain on the drivers in front, even though you're gaining about a tenth or more. If you're undercutting this soon, there's a lot of time you could be gaining.
I'm getting word now that the 99 of Nick Starling also going to be hitting pit road this time.
Starling into pit road. Gonna get service done. 24 laps to go. Adam Baker under heavy pressure. Is the 88 still right there? And then you've got Safe, who's about to get himself unlapped. I mean, with how early that Safe came in, this is actually going to work out, because then he's going to be able to be on the lead lap if he can get by Hutton and Baker.
Difference on tires there. Nearly bit Eric Hutton. Safe there is able to roll the center quite a bit better than the 88. A little bit of contact with the rear bumper there, but no real significant damage. Didn't even get him that much out of shape. Gonna pull over now and let Safe go right on by.
Yeah, I mean, it's better off just let 44 go. Don't hurt yourself too much. And everything should be smooth sailing from here. As we're on board with Eric Hutton watching the 44 and the 48, making the pass, and now Safe Fairs. He is going to be back on the lead lap, and now has done what could be his money pit stop and his final pit stop of the day. And so if we stay green, he's good to make it. Everyone else, they're kind of feeling that pressure of, when do I pit? Do I pit now when I know I'm going to be good? Do I pit in 2 laps? Or do I push it out for another 4 to 5, maybe 6 laps when I stayed out as long as I did in that first green flag run during stage 1?
Well, the gamble here, I think, for Starling and for Fairs that have pit is that they're going to be slower. They know they're going to be slower, have a lot more worn tires by the time the rest of the field comes in. But it's being consistent enough that you can pull out a gap big enough that they cannot reel you back in before the end of the race. And you can already see Fairs has gapped Adam Baker by a substantial amount now since he's made that pass. And the flip side of it, the longer you wait to make your final pit stop, the harder you can push the car at the end of the race and get the most out of the tires without having to worry about too much for the mid-run fall off from pushing too hard early on. And it's always just seems to be who has enough time. Time is the biggest question in these scenarios here, and you really won't know until the last lap, depending on if, say, Adam Baker still has the lead, or he's trying desperately to reel in the 44 of Safe Fairs before the checkered flag.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to worry about. Looking at the track times, James Loveland, he is the fastest car on track. He has done everything he needed to do. Only issue, he's 4.3 seconds back from our leader, and last time after letting some of the drivers around him and lap cars getting by, it costs Loveland about a tenth, but that 56, the longer the run goes on, the quicker he is in aiming for top 3 finish if he can somehow harness that speed later on. More drivers coming to the pits. Dice, Carey, Steele, also Abby, and we saw earlier Seaborn and Sullivan pitting much earlier than everyone else. So with some of these drivers pitting so early, also they don't have to put in as much fuel as they would if they're going to be pitting later on in a run. I wonder if that's also going to be a factor to watch out for.
Well, it'll shorten your pit stop time for sure, but if you're taking 4 tires, might as well go ahead and fill it up, and also having that extra bit of fuel compared to everybody else, it'll help you feel a little bit looser, just a little bit more weight in the car. It's already going to be feeling pretty tight with only a 65% fuel load, so any little extra bit, you're hoping they're squeezing out extra drops in there to help you get some turn in this car for the late stages of the run here. Maybe it'll work out. Guys decide to, take 2 tires and try to gain a little bit of extra time. Might help you out in the short run, but I think based on the fall off we're seeing here, not going to see that. Now Adam Baker and Eric Hutton pitting right on top of each other from the lead. James Loveland 4th now, pitting right along with him.
I don't know if I like that about Hutton. I think he should have gone for another lap or 2. I think that would have been the better call. He could have stayed a little bit closer. But I mean, Hutton's making the call. He does not want Adam Baker to have any type of advantage of getting a little bit more gap on himself. So, I mean, do you think that's a good call when he had plenty of time to go another lap or 2?
I think that is the good call, Sam. That you're feeling now like you're pretty good on pace with the guy you're trying to catch here. Doesn't seem to be as fast as he was at the early part of the race here. Don't think your way out of a potentially winning run here by just deciding to go that extra lap, because maybe you're going to have to push a little bit harder. Maybe you're going to catch some lap traffic that's going to slow you up and cost you even more time, make you have to burn those tires up. And if you burn them up, even if you can catch the guy again, you're going to have almost an impossible time making that pass if he is not. So stay even with him, rely on your race pace, and Eric Hutton doing just that now.
Jeremiah Vincent, he was one of the first drivers to pit on our first stage. He is now staying out, still our leader. And then back in second place, we're watching this amazing action of Chris Wheeler, Summers, and also being passed by the 34 of Thomas Brendel, who came in earlier, made his pit stop. So still drivers that are on the lead lap, they're being passed by those that have already pitted. We're still waiting for a total of 7 more drivers to come into pit road. That of Jeremiah Vincent. Summers not pulling into pit road. Also looks like Brandon Pearl's coming in. I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing Ruckel also following suit. Alex Pelican going to be staying out, as Vincent has notified he's coming in this time by.
Well, I'm pretty worried for safe fares here, Sam. I just saw Adam Baker, Anthony Pelican, Eric Hutton just go around Nick Starling, who pit I believe the same lap as Safe, and he couldn't really do much about it. So I think may have just pit a little bit too early there for the 44, but we'll have to see as this cycles around. But I do not believe they're too much farther behind Safe.
Yeah, I mean, Seaborn is right behind Safe. He pitted 5 laps after Fares. He's coming flying about a little over 8, almost 9/10 faster than the 44. Baker is coming with a head of steam. I mean, for Fares, he pitted so much earlier than everyone else. He came in right when the window opened for drivers to be coming in. I think he was kind of hoping that when he came in, it was going to start the green flag run and not expecting the whole entire field to continue to push it out as far as they can go.
Well, I don't think anybody should tell Safe this, but Adam Baker behind him just set down the fastest lap of the race on his set of tires. So he is digging right now, trying to keep his track position advantage over Eric Hutton and Anthony Pelican behind him. But he ran 0.3 quicker, just a little under 0.3 quicker than Anthony Pelican and Eric Hutton behind him, and over a second quicker than Safe ahead. So I think Safe's got to be hoping for a caution here.
Eric Hutton continuing to lose time to Adam Baker. I mean, he's within that of 0.8, but being side by side with Anthony Pelican, I mean, Pelican's going to pressure the 88 as much as possible, as 48 able to continue pushing forward, getting by Seaborn. And, for Baker, he is doing everything right except for I'm kind of nervous on the fact that he decided to run that fastest lap time. Now I'm concerned, what are those tires going to look like later on in the run? And could possibly anyone be saving just enough to try to run down the 48? As now into the pits was Chris Wheeler. And Wheeler did a great job for the 22, staying out as long as he can. But for those drivers that are staying out, they only have a certain amount of time, as ducking it low, letting our leaders go on by. As I believe that was Alex Pelican that decided to just duck it low and let everyone going by, because Pelican's on those older tires and the damage, it really has been hurting the 12.
Well, Adam Baker now, Timmy Manuel making his pit stop, gonna cycle the lead back to Adam Baker here, but safe now, only in second place. As I say that, he gets passed by Eric Hutton. But talking about saving, Sam, you mentioned it just a little bit ago. Adam Baker setting down those quick laps. You can be more aggressive with the less time we're going to have in this final stint on these tires. But I think the reason we saw Eric Hutton slowly sliding back, he's saving just a little bit extra. I think he figured out something that's going to keep him even with pace for Adam Baker, and going to try to make use of that as the run goes on here, as we get into the later stages. I imagine we're going to see the 88 slowly chipping into that lead.
He's doing just that. I mean, he was 8/10 back about a lap or two ago, and now within 3/10. Eric Hutton, he is doing everything in his power to become a multi-time winner here this season, and would make it to where we've only had 2 winners, and it continues on. Adam Baker is our 2-time winner, winning at Texas and Pocono the last 2 weeks. Hutton winning the first race of the season at Iowa. I mean, for Hutton, if he's able to win at Iowa, short track, multi-grooved there, to then win here at Michigan, where it's all about tire saving and how well you're able to save it. I mean, this is a great run by the 88, but it's kind of now a juggling match, and also kind of like a seesaw at times on how, if you're saving for 5 laps, you try to be aggressive for 5 laps, which then hurts you for the next one. And then it's just a balancing act on how aggressive can you be for these final couple of laps, as it's 10 laps to go, and we just had our first DNF of the day. Alex Pelican has officially parked it.
Well, looking at it now, Sam, Eric Hutton able to close into just over 0.3 of a second on Adam Baker, but once he got there, it's really stalled out. He's going to get a good run here out of turn 4, now to close it into underneath 0.3 or dead even with 0.3. The draft has helped him a tremendous amount, but the dirty air in the corners, once he got to this point, he just cannot seem to get the power down like he was able to before, driving in pretty deep there, closing in another 10th now on Adam Baker.
Yeah, I mean, I know for the Cup cars, the current Cup cars, it's a lot of, there's that air bubble, the dirty air is so massive. For the Xfinities, I mean, they're kind of a different beast compared to the Cup and the trucks. I mean, you're really more focused on your throttle control a lot more. And also, it just seems like the aero package is so different from the Cups and the trucks on how you're able to aggress on people. It just seems like right now for Hutton, he's kind of hit that air bubble where he's not really able to gain any time. He's kind of just stuck where he's at.
With the Cup cars, Sam, the air bubble and how wide open you can carry for most of your run is why the dirty air is such a hindrance to those cars. With the Xfinity cars, especially as the run goes on, you're going to spend a lot of time off throttle, really rolling the corner. So it's going to help negate the negative effects of the dirty air, but it's still not as good as clean air. And right now we're still seeing, even on the more beat up tires, Adam Baker just keeping as much dirty air on the nose as the 88 as possible. And Eric might still be saving just a little bit, making slow gains now, up a couple hundredths going down into turn 1. And I think Adam is trying to make adjustments a little bit wider than we've seen him enter turn 1 lately, whereas Eric Hutton trying to keep it pinched down as much as possible and chop into that lead.
Yeah, and as these two are battling along, James Loveland able to move up to 4th place as Fairs drops back to 5th. For the 44 coming into this race, was one of the only drivers to have a consistent finishing in the top 5 for our first 3 races. He's got to have a long battle as we're coming up to 6 laps to go. But I got to say, for Fairs, I don't think he's going to finish in the top 5, but you never know. Seaborn has been wearing and tearing on those tires. He's not gaining on the 44 anymore.
The last time by, he was a tenth quicker. This last time by, almost 3/10 slower. So Bryant Seaborn trying to slowly reel in for that top five. But I think safe if he's just consistent. I think he can still continue that stretch of top fives here, but you can't get too aggressive trying to get back to Loveland. Just make sure that you're able to salvage your top five here on your strategy.
And then behind Seaborn, you got Dallas Sullivan, who's done a great job rebounding up to 7th place. The big swamp of cars, though, is at 8th place. Jeremiah Vincent, one of the last drivers in the top 10 that decided to pit. He's doing a great job up to 8th place for himself. And then you got Nick Alves, Bradley Wilson, as well as Alan Dice. They're all battling to figure out who's going to be in the top 10.
Zach Smith, really great move here, up 21 positions in 12th now, just behind the top 10, and they're checking up ahead of him here, going to give him a big run. As these guys are battling, he's able to get so close now, almost all the way to the back bumper of the 57 of Alan Dice, who's looking to make that pass for the 10th position. Looks like he will do that.
Oh, Dice is coming up into Wilson, and it's Wilson drifts up. Smith able to hold on, and somehow he stayed green when that easily could have been a disaster wreck for all those drivers.
That right there was the definition of full send. Alan Dice just drove it in on the bottom, able to slide up in front of the 51 of Bradley Wilson there, but Wilson not going to be too happy about that.
This is now going to be bringing in that of Nick Starling, Nick Gardner, Jordan Scheffler, and also of Joe Means. All what was turning into just a small battle of 4 or 5 drivers for 10th place is now turned into a colossal 6, 7, almost 8 driver window of who could be battling to gain some positions here late, as it's 3 laps to go. Adam Baker and Eric Hutton, they're closing up, but this battle back here, it's hard to stop watching, as that of Starling and Gardner still side by side.
Yeah, Gardner being really aggressive on the inside here, but it looks like Starling, he's just able to roll the high side. You saw Gardner get a little bit tight on early center of the corner, allowing Starling to really roll the outside, get that big run, but still nearly dead even. Slight advantage to the 99 for the run on the high side there, but really impressed with the way Nick Gardner is able to make the inside work. Having to back off here, almost gets run over by the 13 of Jordan Scheffler, but look at the run he is able to get.
As right now, the leader, Adam Baker, continues to pull away. 2 laps to go. And Eric Hutton, if he had anything, it was only for the past 3 laps, because he is losing time greatly. He was at one moment less than 2/10 right on the back bumper of Adam Baker, but it has just gone away. Adam Baker coming through 3 and 4 for the Basic Joe's Racing 200 here at Michigan. White flag, 1 to go here for below the double yellow Xfinity Series. Round number 4 is looking good for Adam Baker, which this would be his 3rd win of the season, 3 in a row. I mean, what a run we've been seeing from this 48.
It's been a great last 3 weeks for Adam Baker here. Really dominant performance here at Michigan, as well as Pocono. And just behind them, Anthony Pelican now into the clutches of James Loveland for that 3rd position. I just think there's a little bit too little time for Loveland to make his way into the top 3 here, but hats off to James for that strategy, falling all the way to the back, taking it easy, rebounding for that top 5.
And coming across the line, it's Adam Baker. It's 3 in a row for the 48. What a run for the V-Speed team. Eric Hutton going to be able to get 2nd place, and Anthony Pelican, after the discussions, the arguments, the absolute debacle that happened last week, Anthony Pelican has to be excited just finishing the top 3 here today.
And back behind him, Safe Fares able to hold on to continue his top 5 streak. 4 top 5s here in the first 4 races. So consistency, the name of the game for the V-Speed team. Adam Baker with his 3 wins, and Safe Fares 4 top 5s. These guys are in a great position coming to the halfway point next week.
Absolutely great to see. As Adam Baker gets to the line, and he'll start burning it down. Well, we got to see 80 laps of amazing racing here in Michigan, and it's only going to get crazier as the season just gets a lot more chaotic. Next week, we go to North Wilkesboro. Can't wait for that. But for Adam Baker, he makes it 3 in a row. And now the big question, who can conquer really the tower that we are starting to see? It is looking almost impossible at times if anyone can beat the 48V speed machine of Adam Baker. But we'll talk to our top three in just a few moments. We'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back as the race is concluded here for the basic Joe's Racing 200. Adam Baker is your winner. We're going to take a look at our final results. Your top 10, Adam Baker, Eric Hutton, and Anthony Pelican. Your top three with James Loveland and Safe Fares in fifth. Then you've got yourself Dallas Sullivan finishing in sixth place. What a run for that team. Started all the way back in 30th up to sixth. Then you got Seaborn as well as Vincent Alves. And in 10th place, you're going to have yourselves with Zach Smith.
11th got Alan Dice having a really good run as well. Bradley Wilson in 12th, really good showing there. Had a little bit of an incident there at the end with Alan Dice, but still able to salvage that 12th. Dylan Teal, not the result that he wanted, back in 16th. Nick Gardner up 14 positions, though, in 13th, having a good run for himself as well after second place last week. Would have liked a little bit better, I'm sure, but 13th place, not too bad here, considering some of the incidents we've seen on track with guys getting into the wall and into each other. No cautions tonight, so not able to really get a lot of that fixed. Any damage really hurts you. And also got to point out, great job going 80 laps with only the stage caution to bring a slowdown to the action here. So hats off to these guys tonight here in Michigan. It was a great race.
Yeah, and then you can see the rest of the field. Those that went a lap down, starting with the 11 of Francisco, then Jordan Beckel, as well as Jacob Houston, not having the runs they wanted. Kyle Payne having his issues, and our only DNF of the day, Alex Pelican. As those are your final results. I mean, what a run it is, and looks like we do have Adam Baker, and looks like we're having issues moving him. So we're going to contact Adam and try to get him into the booth, but we're still going to try to get him in here as we are still, I mean, what a race it has been here, Brandon. I mean, we're now 4 races in, about to get to the halfway marker. Go to North Wilkesboro for the next race.
Oof. North Wilkesboro, these guys are definitely going to have their hands full. I can't say that I've ever had the opportunity to run the Xfinity car at North Wilkesboro, but the experience I have there in the Cup cars and the trucks, it is difficult. There's a lot of room to race, but you've got to manage the tires. It's a weird line that you have to run there. Really old surface as well. And very interesting and unique as far as ovals and certainly short tracks go. Uh, Excited to see that if Adam Baker can string it together and do well at North Wilkesboro as well as he's done the last 3 races at Texas, Pocono, and Michigan. Hats off to him, but we can't forget the last short track we did, Eric Hutton able to win that race at Iowa. So got to give him a bit of a nod there and a bit of an advantage over the 48, but we thought he had an advantage tonight and just could not quite get enough.
And then after North Wilkesboro, you go to Homestead. That's going to be a 1.5-mile course. And then we go road course racing for round number 6 at Watkins Glen, Chicagoland, Dover. That's going to be an interesting one. And then we have Daytona to finish out the season. So it's a crazy race that this is going to be. But it's looking like we are having some issues getting drivers up here. So if needed, we'll try to talk to the drivers at the start of next week's race. As we are coming to a close, and as we're coming to a close, we're going to send it up to Robert Moyer to finish out the call.
That is right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in out there. We do apologize, but we don't have access to move drivers to the broadcasting room. So, unfortunately, we cannot interview them like we said. We will interview them next week as we go live, and we have some time during practice and qualifying to get those drivers up. So, all right. Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed the show, and we will catch you next week here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But until then, we'd like to say God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.